Here we go, y'all. I'm Patrick Michael Strange with my man Troy David Phillips, store manager here at Flashback Comics. And I got my man, the guest of honor in this new episode of The Strange World, my man Tony Kittrell of Advent Comics is in the house. My man.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Glad to make this happen. Got some these there's some brothers in comic book. They're making a few things happen.
Yeah, you know.
So my man Tony, you know, I've been following your journey ever since I met you at Baltimore Comic-Con years ago, checking out all the great artists that we'll talk about later on. But man, I was just blowing some of the cats you got working with you, man.
Yeah.
It's an amazing array of talent.
Been lucky.
But looking at your bio, oh my gosh, you're kind of a hero yourself, my man.
Oh.
So, but before we go there, you know, there's a lot we want to talk about. Okay. Fill us in on your journey as a kid. What first got you into comic books? You know, just a little bit about that.
Well, when I was a kid, my brother used to collect comics. My brother and my cousin.
Okay.
And I would always sneak into the room and read the comics after they were done, and I came across just what I thought was just fantastic.
What was the first book?
My very first book that I read was a Neil Adams X-Men. It was,
man.
It was during a period where X-Men had kind of faded out a little bit, but
okay.
I just sort of...
They started doing what was the reprints?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sort of
just before the reprints.
Yeah.
Okay. The Neil Adams ones, those were before the reprint age.
Yeah. I sort of art, and I love the concepts of good and evil, and it was just cool. It was just so cool to me, and I was hooked. I was hooked, and then I started reading Spider-Man, and from there I was like, wow. That's something I can relate to.
And from what I saw reading your bio, you when your brother started creating your own characters,
yeah.
Who was the writer, who was the artist? Was it both of you?
Well, basically, I can't draw. So,
okay.
So I concentrate on the writing aspect. And
okay.
Created over 600 characters.
Wow.
Before the age of 13.
Wow.
So, and you know, a lot of those characters are finally starting to appear in Advent Comics. So, those characters that are created were all created when I was a kid.
That's insane. So you created these as a kid, and you got older. Were your parents into you becoming a comic book? I know,
no,
you know, a lot of when we say that to our parents, I want to be an actor. I want to, you know, write comics. You better get paid.
My parents,
you know what I'm saying?
My parents let me, you know, follow my dreams, but they weren't really into me doing this as a job.
Okay.
So, you know, I went to college and worked for the government and worked as an accountant and came bored with it.
Okay.
I always wanted to do something different, so became a firefighter,
and that's the key right there. Where when I was reading about your life story, how you became a fireman, shout outs to that. Salute to you on that as a soldier. You know, people I really respect. I think that we all respect our men in the military, men and women in the military. Let me correct that.
Indeed.
Shout out to my lieutenant that we have over here. Our men and women in the military, as well as our men and women in the police force, and as well as firefighters, going out there saving lives. You are a hero yourself, sir.
Appreciate that.
So
Appreciate
much respect to that.
Thank you.
So you became a firefighter,
You know, and basically, and I think that was in part due to reading comics as a kid, and taking that concept of good and evil, and always wanting to help people and to be there, and that kind of played a big part in my development. Comics taught me to read. I mean,
definitely.
So, I mean, it all tied into my love of comics as a kid to, I think, becoming as sane a person as you can be as a public safety personnel. But yeah, I love it.
So you were doing what you enjoyed
always
a firefighter,
yes.
And you know, public service, but you still had this lingering.
I did.
You know, thought to write and create comic books.
I
when
did,
you were
and
a kid.
I had put it away. But I went to the 2009 Comic-Con. My wife and I were out there, and I ran into Tyrese.
Gibson.
Tyrese Gibson.
Didn't he have a book? What was that?
He had a book, and that's what he was promoting at Comic-Con. He was in.
You went to San Diego Comic-Con.
I went to San Diego Comic-Con.
God.
Yeah, my wife and I were just out there, and he said, you know, you met him at the hotel, and we were like, hey, Tyrese, what are you doing out here? He's like, I'm promoting my comic. I'm like, comics? I'm like, really, you? I'm like, you should be making movies and doing music. Mm-hmm. So he gave us tickets, and I went out and got a picture that's on my Facebook page, him and I together, and I started talking to different people in the industry and around Comic-Con. I'm like, wow, I think I can do this.
Okay.
And I'm like, you know, I've always wanted to write, and I'm not totally bashful. I went to this panel called the Black Panel.
Yes.
You know about the Black Panel.
Led by my man Michael Davis.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
All right.
So I went out to the Black Panel, and
shout out to Milestone.
I walked up to a hot new artist at the time. His name was Ken Lashley.
Oh yes, out of Canada.
Out of Canada. And I told him, like, hey, I'm putting together this comic book.
Okay.
I want you to draw it. And
Okay.
he accepted.
Okay.
So he did some sketches of the character who would later become Titan, who was
Okay.
kind of our flagship
Yeah.
character. So I talked to a couple other people out there, which got me.
I gotta interrupt you real
Yeah.
quick though. So you're talking to some heavyweights though.
Oh, yeah.
These guys are established
Oh, yeah.
guys.
Oh, yeah.
I've been doing my comic thing too, as you know.
Indeed.
You're talking to them,
Indeed.
but you gotta have something behind it. What kind of You had to have some capital.
Well, no, actually, the capital was me working a lot of overtime
Okay.
at the fire department to pay for a lot of this stuff.
Okay, so you came to some agreements.
Yeah.
So you knew you wanted to do it.
Exactly.
And you found artists
by,
and
by hook or
you
by
worked
crook.
something.
Right, exactly.
But know this, guys,
Yeah.
that are
Yeah.
paying attention, trying to break into this.
Indeed,
Getting
indeed.
contracts out
My-
there to protect yourself.
Indeed, definitely. And I did
Legal.
right. I did contracts with all of my guys, and the
Mhm.
first 12 guys that I had, we found off of Facebook and
Okay.
DeviantArt.
So, and that's a key note there. Shout out
Yeah.
to Facebook,
Facebook and
DeviantArt,
There are
Pencil
plenty-
Jack, and Lead Heavy. I think were
Yeah.
big when I
They-
was getting creators out there because
There are some.
I know my man right over there
brilliant-
as a writer. How do I get an
Yes.
artist? How do I get an
Brilliant.
inker or letter?
Brilliant people out there who are looking to get into the industry.
Mhm.
There are tons of writers and artists who have skill,
Yes.
true skill, and we were lucky to find some of those people. And from there, I had 3 people who really I was lucky to have help me and mold me. Like I said, I'm not shy, so I took chances.
Okay.
I reached out to certain people like Christopher Priest,
Yes.
who wrote Black Panther.
Black Panther.
He gave me a lot of insight.
Quantum and Woody.
Quantum and Woody as well. He gave me a lot of insight on the aspect of doing the ebooks. So that's why when Advent came out, we did ebooks.
Okay.
I also talked to behind the scenes Joe Illidge, who was part of Milestone
Yes.
and also editor for Batman in
Yes.
DC Comics, and Chris Cross. The 2 of them, I had reached out to them to help me mold Advent at
Mhm.
the time. Talks fell through. Like I said, my pockets weren't that deep. But
So how'd you communicate with these guys? Like you became friends? You just
No,
from
I-
just going to that one particular convention?
I went to that
Or
one
you stayed in
convention.
contact?
I went to that one convention, met Ken Lashley, and met Dennis Cowan, Michael Davis.
Okay.
But my passion,
Okay.
I was passionate. Once I decided to do it, I just go full board.
Okay.
Like fireman, we kick down doors until we
Okay.
get it done. So
That's a lot of hard work.
it's a
I
lot
just
of
wanna
hard
say
work.
passion,
Don't,
you
yeah,
know,
don't think
everybody's
passion alone can get it.
you gotta
have
write
to work.
letters, you gotta call
exactly.
people.
You know,
Email.
it was a lot of contacting people behind the scenes and bugging a lot of people, and just taking that shot where I contacted Walter Simonson and was like, hey, can you do some art for me?
Mhm.
And he was like, well, we're local, but I have an exclusive contract.
Mhm.
It was a lot of rejection, but at the same time, it was a lot of success. And then once we started putting content out there and people started to see what we're doing,
Yeah.
more people started coming towards us.
Definitely.
So we've been lucky. We've been lucky.
That's why I gotta say that's what raised my eyebrow. I've seen a lot of independent creators out there, but when I was looking at your stuff, I was like, yo, that's my man Bart Sears on that
Yeah,
joint.
yeah.
I'm a huge Bart Sears fan.
Bart Sears
You know,
came
I was
along.
like,
Bart
man.
Sears did the covers to our first book, Pandemonium in Evil Incarnate, and that brought his label mate Andy Smith on board. And Andy
Good
and
guy.
we found out we're from the same high school, same area. So that led me to talk to Walt Simonson, who's from the same area.
He was from
So
Maryland? I thought Andy was a North Carolina dude.
Andy lives in North Carolina.
Okay,
but
now.
He was from Beltsville. Went to High Point High School.
Okay.
Walt Simonson grew up in Beltsville. So, that common thread is how I connected with some of these guys.
Maryland's got some artists.
Maryland has some talent.
Man,
So Maryland,
yes.
D.C., Virginia area, period, has a lot of talent.
Comic creators out the
Yes,
union.
yes. So we've been blessed to talk to and have a lot of gifted creators work with us.
Okay. I want to get into now, okay, so you brought your team together, all your hard work and dedication. You decided to bring out some of the characters as a kid you created.
Yes.
And now here's Advent Comics. Why did you choose these characters and this is it? So, Advent Comics, you got your team together, you started rolling it, you decided to come up with characters and you pulled out some stuff from your childhood. It kind of took a little bit of nuts to, you think it was worthy?
Some of the characters, I had to
Touch it up.
tweak a little bit, yeah. And then some characters, like for instance, my Titan, he was an amalgamation of like 3 of my favorite characters growing up.
Okay.
Black Panther, Black Goliath, and Black Lightning.
Okay.
So, I had to tweak it a little bit, and actually, shout out to a Kickstarter we're about to do with some big names you're going to see on that. Titan gets a new costume, and also got a nice little story wrapped up in there. Some of the people contributing to the project, Eric Battle, Ken Hunt, and one or two surprises from some even bigger names.
Are you going to whisper it to me later, bro? Can I get the inside?
Yeah.
All right, my man. So, I know my man Troy has some questions. Now that we're here, Advent is out there. You got your books. You got the great people involved. From a comic store standpoint, what separates you from the rest of the people out there?
Well, we are a small company. We have 8 titles that have been released so far, but I think a lot of our distinguishing characteristics come from content. A lot of these creators who are working with us because they know that we're telling some fresh stories. I mean, everything in comics has been done before to an extent. It's just a matter of finding that way to spin it so that it's a little bit new and different to the people out there. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to do something a little different. But at the same time, it's relatable. So.
Well, you had said a little earlier, you were talking about Advent, as comics with soul.
Yes.
So what is that? What does that mean to the prospective reader?
To the readers, I think they'll find that our comics will have content as well as the art they're looking for, the decent writing, but at the same time, you're going to have substance behind it. Not to say that comics on the shelves don't have substance, which they do. I mean, there's something for everyone out there, but I think we're not pigeonholed. We do a little bit of everything. You'll find everything from science fiction, action, adventure, religion, horror, mystery, fantasy. We do it all. So we're trying to bring the old days where you could pick up a comic with 100 pages and it's under $13-14. Our Champions of Hope, $6.99, 100 pages. I mean, all of our pages.
That's hot and unusual.
Yeah.
That's hot and unusual.
Yeah.
So you have you have I guess a shared universe, something maybe. It's like I don't want to compare you. I just using Valiant as an example.
Yes.
They have a shared universe.
Yeah.
Much like a larger Marvel or a larger DC.
I have a shared universe, and it's funny that you say that because when Cosmos gets out to the fans, it will be a much bigger shared universe.
Let's throw Cosmos out there real quick. And we'll pop up some images here so you guys can see a little bit more from Cosmos. Good stuff
That's
coming
Genesis,
out.
by the way.
So you're a big Jim Starlin fan? When I
Big
look at a
fan.
lot of your stuff,
Big
and
fan.
a book that
You'll
my
see
man
it.
Troy's thrown my way,
Yeah.
he's a big Dave Cockrum guy. I'm a
Yeah.
big Uncanny X-Men classic guy.
Huge Starlin
Looking
fan.
at a lot of your material,
Yeah.
it kind of,
It harkens a
that
little
Guardians of the Galaxy,
Sure.
Indeed. Our Dark Light and Crew is kind of a throwback series, like an old 70s feel. You look at it, you'll see some Starlin, early 70s George Perez type stuff from the artist who's Aaron Mead, local boy out of Virginia. Aaron, how you doing?
Shout out.
Yeah. We, like I said, a lot of the comics I read in the past, I kind of brought some stuff with me.
Okay.
So you'll see a lot of that. But by the same token, you'll see some new stuff and some fresh stuff. So hopefully you people are pleased with what you see out there.
All right, so we got Cosmos is your big launch.
That's a new
And
maxi
then
series. Actually, I had started writing Cosmos back in late 90s, like 96 or so.
Okay.
Marvel had an Epic line, and they were looking for writers.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, let me get back to the game, see if I can do this. So I pitched the story that became Cosmos, and it was centered around Warlock. It made it through editorial, and they were like, hey, this is kind of good, but we want to go a different direction with the character. So I'm like, okay, cool. So with that, it didn't make it, but the story was too good. So I said, okay, I'll tweak it a little bit for my characters.
I'm with you on that. I had a couple Marvel pictures I was throwing around the way back in the day and trying to bring it to the some of the parties and stuff.
I pitched them 14 different titles, but this was the only one that actually got 2 responses back.
That's good.
So
That's good.
So we'll see.
So
hopefully fans love it, but it's a good character. It's a good storyline, and actually you're going to see a lot of surprises in this book.
So Cosmos is the next ongoing title within the stable of the different titles.
It's a maxi series. It's a 12-issue maxi series,
Okay.
and it was a story that I always wanted to tell. And actually, the very first book we did, Pandemonium Evil Incarnate, from the very first page of that book leads into Cosmos. So even when I started that first book, not knowing whether or not that book would make it or what have you, I had in mind to tell that story.
Okay.
So it's finally here and it's coming your way, so look for it.
So Cosmos, and now you have this Kickstarter campaign for
Yeah.
Titan.
Yeah.
To change the costume up? What's
Yeah, we're going to change the costume up. Like I said, a lot of my influences were old books, and Titan's costume was an amalgamation of some of my favorite characters, but
Where's Titan on here?
Titan is right here.
His
in
brother
the
right
cover.
here?
Yeah. And
I can see a little bit of the Goliath in there.
Exactly,
Right there.
and we want to take our characters totally away from
There you
that.
go.
Yeah, these are some of the books that were released. Actually, we have like 4 more titles that have been released since that ad went out. So you'll see a Kickstarter for Titan.
Okay.
We have Eric Battle, Ken Hunt, and a couple other people I cannot say right now.
Gotcha.
But the Kickstarter is going to be nice. Pyle Rodriguez, who did New 52
Yes.
Justice League, is doing the art for that.
Awesome.
And the art looks amazing.
All the interiors.
He's doing all the interiors. Tots Valiza, he's doing the coloring.
Okay.
He does. He's the colorist for Jimbo Salgado, who
Okay.
does a lot of our stuff too. So you're gonna see a lot of good stuff.
So what's the next evolution with this? So you have these next books dropping.
Yeah.
What else do you want to see happen? Where do you want this to carry on? Are you looking to,
I want to see Advent grow and expand.
cartoons, comics? I mean,
we're doing
features?
We're doing the whole 9 yards. Not so much as cartoons yet.
I know you
but,
got the clothing line stepping off.
Yeah.
Check out my Cosmos joints.
Yeah, actually, that's from God Sale Gate
What's
of
up,
God.
Troy?
Mine's coming.
That's
you just didn't have my size.
T-shirt challenge.
That's a T-shirt from our next book that actually just went on sale at Amazon today. It's going on sale at some other venues, Barnes & Noble, other places soon.
Okay.
Amazon's got it first. And that's a really good story. That's from myself and 4 other creators / companies.
Okay.
Arthur Belfield, Vince White, who does Power of Willpower.
Yes.
And
I know all those cats.
Yeah, Rashawn Rogers. So we got together, we did something in the venue of a milestone. 4 African American creators coming together to do a story.
Beautiful
And
thing.
it's not just something that African Americans relate to.
Everybody.
Anybody can relate to this. Yeah,
Yeah.
we try to tell a good story, so hopefully you guys like it. 3-issue series, and it started as a Kickstarter project, and it was successful, so we brought it to the masses now, and Advent's publishing it, so it's
Cool.
on sale today.
All right. I think we a little bit ran out of time, but thank you so much. We're gonna have to bring
Appreciate
my
it.
man in here with the next
Anytime.
batch of stuff dropping.
Anytime. We'll be at DC Awesome Con, and we'll have the God Sale, the Cosmos, and hopefully issue 1 of The Regulators by Greg LaRocque, who did DC's Flash.
Yes.
Amazing.
And Legion of Superheroes will be ready. It's being lettered as we speak, so hopefully I have it in time for DC Awesome Con.
And we'll be happy to be carrying some Advent titles here.
I
in the
look
store.
forward to it.
So,
And
yeah.
anytime you want it, myself and some of my artists will come and do signings, whatever you want, because we want to establish a relationship with the fans and the store owners. So whatever you need us to do, we're here for you.
We're gonna fulfill your needs of Advent here at Flashback.
Can I give the website?
Let's give it to him.
Okay, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, but also at www.adventcomics.com. You can get all of our titles there. Like I said, so far we have 8 titles available from some big name creators. So look for our work, and we thank you for your support.